Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Pulls Pods. Joining me today, we have Jill from Hair Game 2 and Danny from the Red Radio. Hello, guys, how are we?
Not too bad.
Hi.
Excellent. Some nice surroundings for you there, Danny, in your car. I mean, as you
Back of the
said
car.
before, it's a busy day.
It definitely is. It's a busy week, always is.
Absolutely. And then obviously I'm at work in, about 90 minutes, so we shall crack on. But firstly, thank you to everyone who listened to the Brian Honor podcast last week. He was excellent. He came round, spoke very candidly about his career in the kitchen. And if you haven't listened to that or the Joel Porter podcast from January, they are available on all platforms now. So we shall get straight into it. Jill, we had you on previously a couple of months ago before the Hair Game 2 game was announced. That was at home to Solihull.
It,
And we said that we'd get you back on to say how it went. Obviously, I was in France at the time, so I wasn't at the game myself. But from your point of view, big success.
yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just once a year the club allow us to have a dedicated match just to raise awareness of who we are and what we do. We invite the grassroots teams from Hartlepool along, of which there was over 300 tickets given away for free to the players and coaches. And the parents come along as well. And it was just a really good day. We were behind the goal in the rink end, so it was really good to see all the girls together there. Yeah, and we had some of them being the player escorts and the flag bearers and everything else. It was another successful one. You never get the opportunity to do everything. You just get this mad hour before kick off when everyone arrives, and then uh, it's over in the blink of an eye. But no, really good.
Excellent. And Danny, I'm not sure how many you've been to recently. Obviously, you at the
Yeah,
radio, so theoretically, I assume you do all of the home games, don't you? I think we've
I
spoken
do.
about this before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
lovely. And moving on from the Solihull game, actually, first of all, Joe, we'll just mention as well the new signs that have gone up via socials. I think you've put on. So there's one outside the boardroom, there's one on the Cyril Knowles. Is that right?
yeah, got a replacement banner put up in the Cyril Knowles, and yeah, the signage in the boardroom. Again, it's just raising awareness of the club being partners with us, really, and the support that they're giving to us.
Right, we shall move on to the three results we've had since the Solihull game. It's been a nice change for pace, hasn't it, really, to move on to victories rather than defeats or frustrating draws as well, because we've had plenty of those this season. We've had the victory against Boston, we've had the victory against Halifax, and we've had the victory the weekend just gone against Ebbsfleet, which was a bit of a last minute affair. Danny, you were in the ground and in the press box at the time. What did you think of the game?
Well, I mean, just going back to the Boston game first and foremost, that one was everything that we've been hoping for. I mean, the amount of games where we've had tons of chances, they've not fell. It was just one of those games where everything fell for us. All the chances that weren't going in started to go in, and I think that's just sort of continued because even against Halifax, we should have been about two or three up in the first half, easy. There was a load of chances, and then as we came to the Ebbsfleet game, I think that was just we made it more difficult for ourselves than we needed to.
Yeah, and moving on to the Halifax game, you're both at the game. Jill, we'll come to you first. An excellent goal by Ray's Cleary from the edge of the box, and then either side of that, you would say it was a very professional performance away from home.
Yeah, we seemed to dominate quite a lot of the game early on, and we didn't put the chances away. Like we were saying before, we're starting to create these chances and just not scoring, but we had quite a lot of possession, and we just thought, oh, it's going to be one of them games where we're going to regret it by the end of the match. But we managed to get the goal, and then yeah, we did we sit back? Did we manage it? I wasn't sure, but it was as usual nerve-wracking end to the match. And to be fair, their pitch didn't help. People comment about our pitch, but that was atrocious. And then when I think it was Cleary that went down and twisted his ankle because he got his boot stuck in the sand, and oh, yeah, but we managed to cling on and, like you say, managed to control the match to get the win.
And Danny, you concur?
Yeah, I think it's just I echo exactly what Jill said. The first half we were clearly the better side. I think if you saw the first half, you'd think we were the side that were in the playoffs and they were the side that were just sort of middling and mid-table. And then second half, it was just really a case of both teams weren't very good, and I think that's purely down to, as Jill said, the pitch being the biggest equaliser. Nobody could really do anything because of the pitch.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, the quality of Halifax's pitch has always been a bit of a talking point when it comes to games at the Share, and particularly when a team shares with a rugby team, rugby league, rugby union, etc. It does become, let's say, used. I think is the polite way of saying that,
Yeah.
and it can be detrimental to football for obvious reasons. I mean, our pitch certainly needs the investments. We'll probably come on to the takeover a little bit later, but the pitch does need investment, but it's not that bad. It's not
No.
as bad as that. And I mean, you look at Aldershot as well. If you remember the pictures from Aldershot earlier on the season, where it basically looked like someone had taken some sand from a beach and dumped it on the pitch, and it's just reflective of the league in as a whole, really, isn't it? I mean, if you look at the top of the league, you've got Barnet, who's got an excellent pitch. You've got York, whose facilities are excellent, and I think they've had a bit of rugby on there recently, so it may not be as good as it was at the start of the season, but you'd expect that natural wear and tear anyway. Forest Green have a good pitch. Gateshead have a terrible stadium but a good pitch. Like it's that, if you've got a good pitch, you can play better football, and it means you probably get better results. But moving on to Ebbsfleet next as well, that was the most recent game that we've had, and again, it's another one of those where we're playing a team at the bottom of the table, and we've made such hard work of it. But in the end, Joe, will come to you first. At the end of it, the right results.
It was. We dug it out, right attitude, right sort of approach to it. But again, people are saying we should have been in another Boston game where we should have won it 3-4-0, whatever. But they're already relegated, is that right? So
Yes, they
um,
were relegated. I think it
I
was
just
last week. Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of their players were playing for new contracts. There was a lot of good performances from them because they were fighting for probably for new contracts at other clubs that were in the National League. One of them ones, which their fans must be really frustrated with. The club's been relegated and then they turn up at polls and start showing like that. But whether that was a bit of a shock to our team or what, I don't know. But yeah, managed to snatch the winner very late on. It was nice to be on the like the better side of that because usually we're the ones who lose to last minute howlers. So it was nice to actually be on the winning side for once.
That's a fair comment. And Danny, looking at some individual performances now, we've got Ray's Cleary, we've already mentioned once, and we'll mention
Yeah,
again because his was an excellent strike from the edge of the area. I think
yeah.
everyone will agree with that. We also have the other goal scorer, Manny D, and the other goal scorer in added time, who hasn't really been able to show what he's capable of since arriving at the club in Sam Falarin. He was in the right place at the right time. And just a few thoughts on him first of all, because we can speak about Race Cleary till the cows come home. But Sam Falarin hopefully can use this as a launch pad to kick his Pulse career off in the right direction.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what I was about to say. Hopefully, that can be a confidence boost from basically what everyone was saying before he arrived when he was at Harrogate, that he seemed disinterested. Was it a confidence issue potentially if he was out of favour? Hopefully, he's got a goal now. We can start seeing him put some more performances like the ones that we used to see against Pools, but for Pools.
Yeah, that's a fair comment as well. And would you start him tomorrow potentially? We'll again speak more about Dagenham shortly. But given that he's got the goal and you'd have thought he'd have the confidence this week in training, given that he's scored. Would you then start him tomorrow to see if he can carry on the momentum, or would you stick with the, tried and tested, I should say, don't change your winning team?
If it was a case of we'd have played Tuesday night, I probably would have been more inclined to agree. But
Yeah.
I feel like there's just no need to change a side that's winning. I just think it makes you more inclined to bring him on maybe a bit earlier in the game, maybe about the hour mark, or rather than leaving it later on. I think it just gives you that little bit more confidence to bring him off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, his pace has never been something that's in
Yeah.
doubt, to be fair. You can speak about the disinterest from Harrogate's side. Obviously, we can only go off what they're saying, their
Hmm.
fans, in terms of his performances there. But his pace, even when he had a couple of appearances at the start of his tenure here, you could see his pace on the right-hand side. If you direct that into positive areas, into dangerous areas, he could be a very good factor going into the end of the season and next season.
He could, and I think as well that's probably partly why he's struggling to find a role as a starter because his pace is such a valuable asset that I mean you'd rather that against tiring National League defenders rather than from the off.
Yeah. So, Jill, 2 words, Raise Cleary, off you go.
Don't fall in love with a lone player.
If only that was possible. When we
Too
seem to
late
have
to
lone
take me back.
players like that.
I mean, Danny Kemp, look what happened there.
That's true.
But yeah, he's been excellent since he's come in. He just seems to have the right attitude and everything. And unlike Falarin, if he had Cleary on one side and Falarin on the other, firing on all cylinders, that would be a scary thought. But yeah, Cleary's done really well. Excellent sort of return.
And looking a little bit broader at the team as a whole, would you say potentially that Tom Parks and Nathan Sherrin will be battling it out at the moment for Player of the Season?
If you would have asked me who would have been them two at the top of your list, definitely.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think anyone
I
else
think,
would be fine to get in there, to be honest.
yeah, I think to be fair to Raise Cleary, if he'd have been here all season, he'd have been a very
Yeah.
strong contender. I think the fact that those two have been here all season, I think,
Even in the bad games or
yeah,
the times when we were struggling, them two have been like the workhorses, really. I
yeah,
mean, Sharon just never stops.
Nathan
And
Sherrin fan club on the
covered
podcast.
covered in a number of different areas as well. And yeah,
Absolutely. And if you would press to pick one right now, would you go for Parks or would you go for Sharon?
just because he's been utilised in many areas and has been, has worked well in them areas, I probably have to say Sharon. But I feel like that's a total disservice to Parks because he's been solid.
I think to be fair, whoever you pick out of those two, I don't think anyone would have any complaints. I
So
think that's a
they're one
testament
and
to how good
two,
they've both
whichever
been.
order.
Yeah, Danny, would you choose Sharon or Parks?
I'd go
Or
with
a
Tom
third option,
Parks.
obviously.
I'd go with Tom Parks because he's had multiple different partners throughout the whole season, but the one constant is he's been the one at the back. Even going back to the start of the season when we had Luke Waterfall pretending the football pitch was an octagon, he was still putting in
Oh, that's a good
relatively
one.
decent performances, even when we were struggling.
Oh, the octagon. I mean, to be fair, there's not been too much grass on the pitch, has there? So might as well repurpose it as other things. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's there are fair arguments on either side. I think
Yeah,
if anyone
totally.
picks either Parks or Sharon, I don't think anyone's going to have any complaints as long as it's one of those two. Because there have been other good performers, it's fair to say, throughout the season. I think, to be fair, if Joe Gray hadn't have gotten injured when he did, because he was having an excellent start to the season, and I think he just sort of he lost his place a little bit in the side and lost his way slightly. And I think if he'd have kept up the form he was showing at the start of the season, I think he'd be right up there as well. Manny D's a strange one because he's scored. He's obviously our top scorer, as he will be if he stays as well next season, I assume. And yet, for some reason, it just doesn't feel like he's hit the heights, does it? I don't know if it's reflection on last season, where he scored as many goals as he did, and it just feels like a drop off this season. But he hasn't necessarily been bad, has he? It just doesn't feel like he's hit the heights.
I feel like his hold-up players struggled. He's often give the ball away. But then again, he has three men round him straight away. The other
Yeah.
teams have no to target. There's our target man. We better concentrate on him. He's been, and the amount of free kicks that have been given against him for, well, I'm going to be polite here, but 50-50 balls, or even when it was fouls against him, it's been absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I think he's not found out, but I think a lot of teams know he's our danger man and have targeted him, and yeah, that's probably affected him somehow. So I just think sometimes he tries to control the ball too much instead of just playing it simple and playing it off. Once he tries to take a couple of touches, they're on him and the ball's lost. But you can't take away, you can't like doubt him for his goal scoring ability.
No, fair. And Danny, the other half of that front two is Gary Medine, signed in the summer. It took him a while to get up to fitness, and understandably so, given the long-term injury he'd had whilst at Blackpool. But again, he's shown the quality that he has in this division. And again, I think he's another one where if he'd have been available all season rather than working up to fitness, he might have been in the conversation as well.
I mean, he's just superb. His all-round play. I mean, there's been multiple times this season where he's gone off the pitch, and we've just not been able to create anything because his hold-up play, the way he links everything together from the midfield to the forward lines, it is very, very good. And I think it's been a little while since we've had a striker that you know is going to put in 10 out of 10 performances or close to that, 8 out of 10 performances regularly, even if they don't score. Because even if he doesn't score, he's still impacting the game. Where I feel like Manny D's the other way around. I feel like if he doesn't score, there's a lot of games where, I mean, sometimes you don't even realise he's on the pitch.
Yeah, that's another good point actually. The impact that he has on the game around him, Gary Medina. He seems to draw men to him in a similar way to Manny D does, but he also seems to have the capability to utilize the ball rather than
Yeah,
lose it,
I find
which
he's more of your hold up your outlet where Manny might lose it. Medine's been the one to progress the ball forward, definitely.
yeah, that's probably the right term actually. Yeah, he progresses the ball. That's a good way of putting it because he whether it be Cleary on the left, whether it be Charman on the left or right, whether it be just back to one of the midfielders, he does seem to find the ball. Not always, because again that would be exceptional, but more often than not, he does seem to find a blue and white shirt.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you say, if we just had that, if he was up to speed at the start of the season, it would have been interesting. But he's getting there, so hopefully he'll continue for the next till the end of the season with that and just keep on improving. I think he seems to be a good lad to have around the squad generally. You know, the experience he's had can only be a good thing.
And looking ahead to next season, we shall assume that there will be a next season. There's no reason to suggest there won't be. But assuming there will be a next season and looking ahead to the potential reinforcements that we could get in the summer, is it fair to say the goalkeeper might be one of them? Because it's a strange one, isn't it? Because he's the goalkeeping coach, Adam Smith, and we still do have Joel Dixon floating around. We haven't had an update from him for a while, but we've still got Adam Smith in goal at the moment. Does it feel a bit weird watching a goalkeeping coach make mistakes? Because, like, if you're a keeper at the club and the coach is in goal and he's making so many mistakes, is it not then a case of, well, you know, why are you in charge? Like, you were teaching me all of this stuff and then you're going out on the pitch and doing what you're doing. It sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? It's a bit like if a teacher tells you to do something and then instantly, like, they then go and do something else. Like, is it a case of waiting for Joel Dixon to come back and hoping that he's in? Because to be fair to Dixon, he was in good form at the start of the season before the injury, and then obviously he's had that long term injury since. So do we need to look for another keeper, or do we think that Dixon might be the answer looking forward? Danny, we'll start with you.
Personally, I think that our future keeper could already be in the building.
Is it
I
Masfari?
mean, that is definitely a possibility.
Yeah,
I think he definitely should be given a chance to fight for that number one spot because, I mean, I've lost track. Is it 25, 26 clean sheets?
it certainly begins with a two. I'm not sure
Yeah,
how high it's gone,
uh,
but that they are ridiculous numbers for a
they
goalkeeper
are.
in any division.
And I mean, I know people will say it is lower division, but I mean, it's worth, even if he doesn't end up winning the starting spot, you send him out to a higher division. And even then, I think he's going to be a sellable asset or somebody that could be our starting goalkeeper for quite a lot of years.
Yeah, I mean he's certainly shown some excellent form on loan
Yeah,
at. Oh, I want to
Redcar.
say I was going to say Redcar. Yeah, I was hoping I was right. But again, I know it's a lower division, but 25, 26, however many it may be, clean sheets in any division is an excellent record and deserves
Yeah,
to be looked at. I mean, there's no reason why we can't give him some starts, especially in the friendlies, just to see how he gets on. And theoretically, if he does well in those, then he can go on to start the season as the number one. Another issue that does seem to rear its head every season, and no more so than this season, is at left back. Jill David Ferguson. He started off, let's put it politely, inconsistently. As the season's gone on, I do think he's grown back into the role, if that is a thing. He's found his feet again and he's looked okay. Do you think do you think he can carry on next season, whether that be as a starter or in the squad, or do you think it is time for him to move on and bring some fresh blood in that position?
I do think we need some fresh blood in that position. He hasn't even had much competition either, which doesn't help anybody.
Well, every time we try and bring someone in, they either get injured or they don't make an impact.
Was it Robinson we brought in? I
Yeah,
was really interested to see how them two would battle it out and whether it would like push Fergie on, like see if we could get him back to his. But as usual, the luck, we don't have any luck, do we? And he went and got injured.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we need to definitely look at that position and bring somebody in because I don't think we can. I don't think Fergie can do it all season. I was shown this year, confidence when she was balls given away, poor free kicks. And then, but like the later games, he's been playing better again. But can we rely on just having the one left back all the time?
yeah. And I mean, I know that Parks can play. I know that Parks can play there, but it's unfair to move him out of his position as well. So it's a very as I was going to say, it seems a difficult one, but it doesn't really, does it? Like we should bring someone else in. It's not really it's not that difficult.
If he gets
Uh,
injured, then what do we do? You
well,
don't want to move Parks. Why are you going to move Parks when he's so good where he is?
yeah, exactly. And in terms of that centre back pairing, we've already spoken about Tom Parks. I don't think anyone can dispute his place on the side next season should he want to be here. The place next to him is a good debate though because we started with Waterfall. He then, as you suggested, Danny, decided to move into the octagon,
Yeah,
both on and off the pitch. We
yeah,
should say as well. And clearly, he's not really in the manager's plans anymore because he's been displaced by Billy Sass Davies, who seemed okay at the start of the season. Sass Davies, he had that nightmare game at York, but then everyone on the pitch had a nightmare game at York, and then he couldn't get back in until quite recently. Would would you stick with Sass Davies going into next season? Would you potentially keep him in the squad and look for someone else to replace? Would you bring Waterfall back in if you think he's an option?
uh, I think there's no reason to not keep Billy Sass Davies. I would still look to bring in some fresh legs at centre back, but I think he's shown he's more than capable enough to be a National League level centre back. Okay, he's had a bad game here and there, but every defender in the National League does. I mean,
Why they're in the
that's why
National
they're
League?
in the National League at the
Absolutely.
end of the day. So I think if there's nothing better out there, then I'd be more than happy going into the next season with Billy Sass Davies and Tom Parks. However, I would like to see us also bring in some younger legs at centre back.
Yeah, that has been a problem for quite a few seasons now, hasn't it? Where we haven't got the legs to track back. I mean, those long balls over the top, it seems to happen. It doesn't happen every game, obviously, but there does seem to be a tendency for teams to just drop a ball over the line and have someone run onto it and score. It's a very worrying trend there. Moving on to right back. Right back's a weird one because we've had Dodds who came back from his long term injury, and he's not been the same player, has he? Unfortunately, I think the potential's still there because we know that he's shown it before, but he hasn't really nailed down that spot again because we've seen the manager play Nathan Sharon there at times, and more recently we've had Louis Stevenson come back in. Jill, are you surprised that Louis Stevenson didn't get a shot sooner?
Yeah, it seemed like he got farmed out on loan quite like surprisingly. I thought it would be big part of our squad this season. But since he's come back, he has managed to fight his way back in. So I'm pleased for him, and he hasn't done too badly. He's so whether that whatever reason he got found out in the first place, but that was sort of front end of the season. Yeah, I think Stevenson's done well and sort of deserves the little run he's had.
Yeah, I think with Stevenson as well, there was a moment in one of the games. I can't remember which one it was. It was the one at home where he had that chance at the back post and missed somehow. I don't know how because it looked easy at the score, but there was a little bit of flack, shall we say, that he took for that. and he's come back from it. He's come back stronger. He's come back with good performances on the pitch. And to be fair, when you're a local lad coming through at a local club, you do tend to get a bit more leeway with mistakes, etc. But Danny, do you think he's the long term solution? Do you think he should be starting next season?
I don't see why he can't be. I mean, local lad. Every time I've spoke to him, he seems to be really, really determined to make that spot. I mean, that's what he said to me. He said that his next goal is to make that right back spot his. So I don't see why you don't give him the chance. Obviously, in the summer, bring in trialists, do what you need to do. But I think looking at that, he should be given the chance. Same way as Josh Masfari in goal. I think if they prove they can, then great. But if not, then obviously you look at other options. But either way, I think Louis Stevenson needs to see more minutes next season than he has this season.
To be fair, looking at the youth as a whole, you've got the likes of Masfari who may come back and compete for the number one spot, and hopefully he does. You've got Louis Stevenson at right back who could do the same, competing with Dan Dodds. You've got Joe Gray further up who feels like he's been at the club for 20 years, and yeah, he's still only in his early 20s. It, it's a good sign for the youth, isn't it, when you see players like that coming through, and even if they're not nailing down a spot currently, they are in and around the first team squad.
Yeah,
Yeah, we seem to have a lot of them from the academy going out on loan to local teams to get experience under their belts. And I'm just pleased that they've got a system in place where the academy will be staying. They seem to be putting a bit of emphasis on that at the moment, which is really good to see. And seeing all of, like, especially the academy match the other night, there's quite a lot of the promising local lads coming through now.
Yeah, Danny?
yeah, I just about to say the same thing. It's the best way to become a self-sufficient football club is to develop your own players, sell them on. Same way like we have done with Brad Young. I mean,
Yeah.
it was strange at the time because he didn't play one single game for us. But it's that sort of thing that keeps a club going. And also, when you've shown you're good at developing young players, clubs would be more likely to send their young players to you
That's a good point as well, yeah.
to develop their players.
Yeah, it's a good sign, isn't it? I mean, if we can start bringing more players through, even if they're not playing consistently, just in and around the first team squad, it will produce better results for us. The only position we haven't really spoken about so far is central midfield, where we've got I can't remember how old he is, and I don't want to overestimate his age, but Nicky Featherstone. I'll sit on the fence and say mid-30s. And again, he seems to be one of those players where every season it looks as though he's about to step back from the playing squad. He's about to move to the bench and he'll come off as like a solution if need be. And then he seems to nail down a starting spot at the start of every season, even at the age that he's at. I mean, it's a testament to his longevity, and it's also very strange that he hasn't got a testimonial yet. I know he left the club for what 2 months or something, but realistically, he could quite easily get a testimonial at this point. Sharon and Miley being the other two in that midfield, is Sharon and Miley the long term fit, Danny?
Yeah, that's the easy answer for you. Yeah, Miley, superb. Ever since he's come in, Sharon, exactly the same. Miley's only going to get better, and I think having somebody like Nathan Sharon in there just will make his life 100 times easier.
Yeah, Jill.
Oh, totally. Like you say, Feds has probably gone on and played more than he expected this season, to be honest. I mean, the games we've won, I don't think he's started. He's come on as the calming influence when things have started to get a bit panicky. So yeah, Miley and Sharon start. They concentrate on them two for the midfield, and then Feds is there if and when required, to sort of maybe steady the ship or whatever else.
Absolutely. And the other player, the elephant in the room, if you like, is Anthony Mancini, who undoubtedly has the quality. Every time he plays, every time he comes on, every time he starts, he has the influence on the game, but it's just so few and far between his appearances. Now, is there an argument perhaps that it should be time to move on from him, or is it is it an idea to give him one more season to see if he can stay fit?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have my partner reckons he's had his opportunities. Unfortunately, he can't stay fit enough long enough for us to sort of reap the rewards that he promises to bring. Is he too much of a we could use the money that we're paying him to get somebody else in that has a bit more sort of isn't as injury prone. And it's not his fault, it's not his fault if he could stay fit, it would be marvelous. But unfortunately, he just seems to break, a couple of matches and then he breaks down again with something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's an argument that that's why he's at the level that he's at, isn't it? There where his quality could potentially go into League One, League Two, but his body just keeps betraying him. And Danny, that feels like that's why he's at this end of the pyramid.
Well, I mean, it's one of those that we've had a lot of players like that as well over the years, and it's just so frustrating, and it's so hard to say that we need to let them go because of how good we know they are. I mean, the game I'll always go back to is that one where he got clapped off by the opposition fans at Southend. I mean, it's games like that where on his day, if you can even get him for 30, 35 games, he'll win you the league or he'll get you in the playoffs. But there's just that money could be spent elsewhere.
That's it, isn't it? Could that money be used for something else? Are we going to get that number of games out of him?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that at the end of the season. And you mentioned there about him being applauded off at Southend. I've seen two players get that honour at away games before, certainly in my memory anyway. One being Nathan Thomas at Morecambe, when we put five past them and he scored those two goals. The second one was a brilliant, brilliant goal. It was very Iron Robin, where he cut inside from the flank and just bent it into the far corner, and he got applauded off there. And then Dan Kemp at Grimsby, who we've already spoken about, when we beat them 4-1, he scored a hat-trick, and again, he was excellent there. But yeah, it'll be a shame if it doesn't work out for Mancini, but at this point, it's been 2 seasons and unfortunately just hasn't recovered from that first injury. At the end of his first month, where he basically tortured the entire league, and unfortunately, Chesterfield happened, and he never really recovered from that, unfortunately, fitness wise. But then again, he's certainly got the quality, so we'll see how that goes. Moving on to one of our final points, we've got the table, or I've got the table in front of me here, and we do unfortunately have to mention the P word, which we haven't had to mention for 2 months because we all thought that at the end of February it was done. And it may well still be done. I mean, you may well come out and say it's definitely done. However, 6 points off the top seven, and we've got to play four of the top seven. So we can certainly close the gap. Play Gateshead and Rochdale in those fixtures who are sixth and seventh. Rochdale have got to play the likes of Altrincham, etc. as well. A lot of those teams have to play each other. Danny, is it on?
It's definitely on. It's a mammoth task. I mean, I think it would be something like what 7 games in a row that would have had to win, including the 3 that we've already won, 7 or 8.
We've got 5 left, haven't we? So we'd win
Yeah,
8
so
in a
it'd be
row.
8 games in a row.
To be
I
fair,
mean,
if you broaden this out to not just polls, if you say this about any team, if you say to a team that they're going to win the last 8 in a row, would you not expect to be up there?
yeah,
Like,
I
it doesn't
mean,
matter what their it doesn't matter what their first 5 months or whatever it is was. If you say to a team you're going to win your last 8, you'd expect to be in and around, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I
any
mean,
club midfield and they win the last eight midfield, mid-table, you'd expect them to be shooting straight into the playoffs.
Is that what it's going to take? Do you think we have to win all of our games now?
I think that we could probably afford to draw one if it's against one of Rochdale or Gateshead, and they're continuing to collapse as they are. That is the only way we'd be able to drop any points is if we got a good draw against a Rochdale or a Gateshead.
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult run, and I will say that because I've been saying that all season. Where you look at the end of the season and you've got in order Oldham on Good Friday, Gateshead on Easter Monday, Rochdale away the week after, and then Forest Green to end the season. The benefit with Forest Green, I think, is that they're going to finish third.
Yeah.
No higher, no lower. At this moment in time, they're 8 points off York in second, and then 9 points clear of Oldham in fourth. So that's a good sign. You've got Oldham in fourth, who are on 66. They're 6 points clear of eighth placed Altrincham. As we've said already, they're 9 points off Forest Green. So I think a win this weekend for them will probably seal the playoffs for them. So again, they might be a little bit off the ball come Good Friday, and then after that, we've just got to win. We've just got to win. If we keep winning, and we're say 3 points off come the final 3 games, it'll be a very interesting end to the season. And we've got to start that by beating Dagenham on, well, it's tomorrow now. So we're recording this on Friday. This should be coming out on Saturday morning. So if anyone's listening to this travelling to the game, safe travels. But yes, Dagenham away. They are in 21st position at the moment. They are 3 points off safety after Boston beat Aldershot in midweek. It's worth saying as well, everyone has played the same amount of games now except for Solihull and Rochdale. They play each other at the end of April. So other than those two, there's no games in hand. So Dagenham, it's going to be an interesting game. I've been to Dagenham a couple of times. Decent little ground, nice setup. But, and I hate saying this, Danny, are we favourites to win that?
I just feel it's going to be Ebbsfleet Part 2.
Where we
Another
struggle
game
to it.
where, yeah, another game where it's going to be a battle because they're fighting for their lives now.
Yeah.
They're absolutely scrapping. So they'll be battling for any point against us on the form we're on compared to where they are in the league. So I feel like it'll go one of two ways. Well, one of three ways actually. We'll get beat, or we'll either batter them like we did Boston, or we'll struggle through like we did against Ebbsfleet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Dagenham's games coming up. We've got us, obviously, tomorrow. But then they've got Ebbsfleet, Braintree, Altrincham and Solihull. Other than Altrincham, who are obviously just outside the playoffs at the moment, all of those teams are, I think, bottom half. They're favourable fixtures for a team fighting the drop. So I think even if they don't beat us, they've still got a very good chance of staying up. However, that's not to say that they won't take tomorrow's fixture very lightly, Joe.
No, that's it. They've got to battle for every point that's available to them to the end of the season. You wouldn't expect anything else. Yeah, I think it'll be a tough game, but so was the last two we've played. So, like I say, I think we should stick with the winning team that we've had. But if they're not a team that's going to sit back because they're just playing out the season, will that benefit us with going forward? We'll be able to find more space because they're pushing forward. But then, like you were saying before, we've got not the quickest central defenders, so they're going to target that. A bit similar to what Ebbsfleet did last week with the balls over the top. So yeah, we've just got to go into that game with the right mentality again and try and win it.
Yeah, it's if we lose that game, I think it's safe to say that we're out of playoff contention. I think we'll all agree this, yes?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think keep the momentum going, if not.
Yeah, absolutely. Theoretically, if we win tomorrow, and it's a big if, but if we win tomorrow, that takes us on to 58. At the minute, Rochdale are on 61, Gateshead are on 63. You've got Altrincham, Southend, and Tamworth in between us and the playoffs as well. It's going to be an interesting end to the season, isn't it? Does anyone put bets on it being moved from Wembley if we get through to the playoff final? It always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, something will happen. There'll
Yeah,
be
they'll
some
find a way. Yeah, there'll
natural
be.
disaster or something. I don't know.
Yeah, get it moved to Plymouth. Well,
Oh, yeah,
we'll make
far
that
away as much
happen.
as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. But just the final word then on the ongoing takeover. The last update was posted regarding the not deposit of not wait a minute, not proof of funds deposited. I think was the exact wording because I've got to get it right because it wasn't the proof of funds, it was the deposited proof of funds that was proven to be a stumbling block. Obviously, we haven't had any updates since, and with the non-disclosure agreements flying around, there isn't really much to say in terms of the detail. Well, I think everyone by now has seen the company's house posting as well for the club, HUFC Limited. And does it feel positive to yourselves? Is it a case of waiting for it to get over the line, so to speak, Jill?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I was talking about this yesterday. I'm not a business person as such, but there's hoops to jump through, there's procedures to follow. So yeah, this whole proof of funds thing makes it sound like oh, no one's got any money and no one's willing to come forward and put any. I don't think that's the case. It's part of the process. And the fact because everything is so quiet at the minute, it's sort of reassuring that things could be progressing. I mean, they might not. We could be totally wrong about this, but I just feel a bit more confidence about this, that things are progressing in the right way this time.
Yeah, it's good to see open communication, Danny.
Yeah, it is. And well, just going back to that takeover, I don't know if it's anything to note that the Monday after that was the turn of the new tax year, the new financial
Yeah.
year. So I don't know if that may have could have played any factors into it. I mean, doing something like that, a massive transaction, buying a football club, surely you'd want to start that towards the start of the new tax year, anyways. But as you're saying, yeah, I mean, the communication between the club has been sort of questioned a lot of times over the past, well, for as long as I can remember, really, to be fair.
Possibly
But
going back to IOR.
yeah, I mean, we've never really had, or not in a long time, had a club where we're sort of kept in the loop a lot. I mean, it takes a lot of people doing detective work online to find out any sort of nitty gritty stuff. But just these statements, I mean, it just puts people's minds at rest.
Yeah, it is a sign, isn't it, that there is work going on behind the scenes. And again, it's important to reiterate. Obviously, none of us, us three, have any inside knowledge of this. You
Yeah,
know, we're not hiding anything due to NDAs. We just don't know at the moment. So we're
yeah,
on the outside, very much like everyone else. But again, all we can go off is statements from the boards. There are little hints dropped through Company's House and things like that where we see things maybe going ahead. But at the end of the day, we can only trust that it will happen. There's no reason to suggest it won't at this juncture. So fingers crossed, we'll all be doing this again next season. Jill and Danny, thank you very much.
thank
And
you.
Thanks.
are either of you going to Dagenham tomorrow, or is it a bit too far?
I was
No,
meant to be.
You were meant to be.
I was meant to be. And then I realised, because I was meant to go to Barnet when it got called off.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, I'll move at the next London away game. So I paid an extra like tenner or something to move train tickets
I
to.
have a feeling you've told me this before
I
when you were
probably
last
have.
on.
I might have done where I moved train tickets to
Yeah.
Dagenham, and then I found out I'm going to the darts tomorrow in Middlesbrough,
Ah,
and I paid 200 quid for them tickets, so I'm not going.
fair enough. Wait, there's that. What that?
Stephen Bunton, Adrian Lewis, Barney,
Oh, it's like an
and
exhibition.
Whitlock. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, fair enough. Oh well, I mean, you know, if you paid 200 quid, I
yeah.
can't doubt that because I think as expensive as the train is these days, I don't think it was 200 quid, was it?
No,
So yeah, fair enough. But yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully for another. Either he's going to Oldham next week. Obviously,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm going
that's a little
tomorrow.
bit closer. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've got the day off for that, so I should be there. Fingers crossed, and I'll look to do another little ramble of mine as well during that day as well. Dictaphone at the ready wherever it's gone. I think it's back in my laptop bag. So we'll see everyone there. And if you are going down to Dagenham tomorrow, everyone safe travels. And hopefully we come back with 3 points there. Jill and Danny, thank you very much
Thank you.
thank you.
and have a good day.